Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 99. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for April 9th, or in a leap year for April 8th. The Old Testament reading is from Deuteronomy 11 and Deuteronomy 12. Deuteronomy 11. And you shall love Yahweh your God, and you shall keep his obligations, and his statutes, and his regulations, and his commandments always. And you shall realize today that it is not with your children who have not known and who have not seen the discipline of Yahweh your God, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his deeds that he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to all of his land, and what he did to the army of Egypt, and to their horses, and to their chariots, and how he made the water of the Red Sea flow over them when they pursued after them, and so Yahweh has destroyed them, as is the case today. And what he did to you in the desert until you came up to this place, and what he did to Dathan and to Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened its mouth wide and swallowed them, their households and their tents, and all of the living creatures that were in their possession, and that were following along with them in the midst of all of Israel. The fact of the matter is, your own eyes have seen all of the great deeds of Yahweh that he did. And you must keep all of the commandments that I am commanding you today, so that you may have strength, and you may go, and you may take possession of that land to which you are crossing to take possession of it, so that you may live long on the land that Yahweh swore to your ancestors, to give it to them and to their offspring, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the fact is that the land that you are about to go into to take possession of it is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come out of, where you sow your seed and you give water by your foot as in a vegetable garden. But the land that you are about to cross into to take possession of it is a land of hills and valleys, and by the rain of the heaven it drinks water, a land that Yahweh your God is caring for it. Continually, the eyes of Yahweh your God are on it, from the beginning of the year up to the end of the year. And it will happen that if you listen carefully to my commandments that I am commanding you today, to love Yahweh your God and to serve him with all of your heart and with all of your soul, then I will send the rain for your land in its season, early rain and later rain, and you will gather your grain and your wine and your olive oil. And I will give vegetation in your field for your livestock, and you will eat your fill. Take care so that your heart is not easily deceived, and you turn away, and you serve other gods, and you bow down to them. And then the anger of Yahweh will be kindled against you, and he will shut up the heavens, and there shall not be rain, and so the ground will not give its produce, and you will perish quickly from the good land that Yahweh is giving to you. And you shall put these my words on your heart and on your inner self, and you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them be as an emblem between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your children by talking about them when you sit in your house, and when you travel on the road, and when you lie down, and when you get up. And you shall write them on the door frames of your house, and on your gates, so that they may multiply your days, and the days of your children on the land that Yahweh swore to your ancestors to give it to them as long as heaven endures over the earth. Yes, if you diligently keep all this commandment that I am commanding you to observe it, by loving Yahweh your God, by walking in all his ways, and by holding fast to him, Then Yahweh will drive out all of these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations larger and more numerous than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads, it shall be yours. Your boundary shall be from the desert, and Lebanon from the river Euphrates, on up to the western sea. No one can take a stand against you. Your dread and your fear, Yahweh your God will put on the surface of all the land where you tread, just as He promised to you. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God that I am commanding you today, and the curse, if you do not listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, but rather you turn away from the way that I am commanding you today, to go after other gods that you have not known. And it will happen that when Yahweh your God has brought you to the land that you are going to take possession of it, then you shall pronounce the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Jordan toward the west, in the land of the Canaanites living in the Jordan Valley, opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth of Moreh? For you are now about to cross the Jordan to go take possession of the land that Yahweh your God is giving to you, and you will take possession of it and live in it, and you must diligently observe all the rules and regulations that I am setting before you today. Deuteronomy 12. These are the rules and the regulations that you must diligently observe in the land that Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, has given to you to take possession of it during all the days that you are living on the land. You must completely demolish all of the places where they served their gods, that is, the nations whom you are about to dispossess, on the high mountains and on the hills and under each leafy green tree. And you shall break down their altars, and you shall smash their stone pillars, and their Asherah poles you must burn with fire, and the images of their gods you shall hew down, and you shall blot out their names from that place. You shall not worship Yahweh your God like this, but only to the place that Yahweh your God will choose from all of your tribes to place His name there as His dwelling shall you seek, and there shall you go. And you shall bring there your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes and your donations and your votive gifts and your free will offerings and the firstling of your herd and your flock. And you shall eat there before Yahweh your God, and you shall rejoice in all your endeavors, you and your family, in which Yahweh your God has blessed you. You must not do just as we are doing here today, each according to all that is right in his eyes. For you have not come up to now to the resting place and to the inheritance that Yahweh your God is giving to you. But you will cross the Jordan, and you will settle in the land that Yahweh your God is giving you as an inheritance. And He will give rest to you from all of your enemies, from all around, and you will live securely. And then, at the place that Yahweh your God will choose to let His name dwell there, there you shall bring all the things that I am commanding you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and your donations, and all of the choice things, your votive gifts that you vow to Yahweh. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your God, you and your sons and your daughters and your slaves and your slave women and the Levite who is in your towns, because there is not for him a plot of ground and an inheritance with you. Take care for yourself so that you do not offer your burnt offerings at just any place that you happen to see, but only at the place that Yahweh will choose among one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all the things that I am commanding you. But whatever you desire, you may slaughter, and you may eat meat according to the blessing of Yahweh your God, that he has given to you in all of your towns. The unclean and the clean may eat it, just as they would the gazelle and as the deer. Only the blood you must not eat, but on the ground you must pour it like water. You are not allowed to eat in your towns the tithe of your grain and your wine and your olive oil and the firstborn of your herd and your flock and all of your votive gifts that you vowed and your free will offering and your donations. But only before Yahweh your God you shall eat it, at the place that Yahweh your God will choose. You and your son and your daughter and your slave woman and the Levite who is in your towns, and you must rejoice before God in all your undertakings. Take care so that you do not neglect the Levite all of your days on your land. When Yahweh your God enlarges your territory, just as he has promised to you, and you say, I want to eat some meat because you want it, whenever you desire, you may eat meat. If the place that Yahweh your God will choose to put his name there is too far from you, and you slaughter any of your herd and any of your flock that Yahweh has given to you, just as I have commanded you, then you may eat whenever you desire in your towns. Surely, just as the gazelle and the deer is eaten, so both the unclean and the clean together may eat it. Only be sure not to eat the blood, because the blood is the life, and you shall not eat the life with the meat. You shall not eat it, but on the ground you shall pour it out like water. You shall not eat it so that it will go well for you and your children after you, because then you will be doing what is right in the eyes of Yahweh. Only your holy objects that are yours and your votive gifts you must carry, and you must bring to the place that Yahweh will choose. And you shall offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, on the altar of Yahweh your God, and the blood of your sacrifices you shall pour out on the altar of Yahweh your God, but the meat you may eat. Be careful to obey all these things that I am commanding you, so that it will go well for you and for your children after you forever, because then you will be doing what is good and right in the eyes of Yahweh your God. When Yahweh your God has cut off the nations whom you are about to go to dispossess them before you, and you have dispossessed them, and you live in their land, take care so that you are not ensnared into imitating them after their being destroyed from before you, and so that you not inquire concerning their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? And thus I myself want to do also. You must not do so toward Yahweh your God, because of every detestable thing they have done for their gods Yahweh hates. For even their sons and their daughters they would burn in the fire to their gods. All of the things that I am commanding you, you must diligently observe. You shall not add to it, and you shall not take away from it. The New Testament reading is from Luke 12, from verse 35 to verse 59. Luke 12:35. You must be prepared for action, and your lamps burning. And you, be like people who are waiting for their master when he returns from the wedding feast, so that when he comes back and knocks, they can open the door for him immediately. Blessed are those slaves whom the master will find on the alert when he returns. Truly, I say to you, that he will dress himself for service, and have them recline at the table, and will come by and serve them. Even if he should come back in the second or in the third watch of the night and find them like this, blessed are they. But understand this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief was coming, he would not have left his house to be broken into. you also must be ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not think he will come." And Peter said, "Lord, are you telling this parable for us, or also for everyone?" And the Lord said, "Who then is the faithful, wise manager, whom the master will put in charge over his servants to give them their food allowance at the right time? Blessed is that slave whom his master will find doing so when he comes back. Truly I say to you that he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But if that slave should say to himself, 'My master is taking a long time to return,' and he begins to beat the male slaves and the female slaves, and to eat and drink and get drunk, the master of that slave will come on a day that he does not expect, and at an hour that he does not know, and will cut him in two and assign his place with the unbelievers. And that slave who knew the will of his master and did not prepare or do according to his will be given a severe beating. But the one who did not know and did things deserving blows will be given a light beating. And from everyone to whom much has been given, much will be demanded. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will ask him for even more. I have come to bring fire on the earth, and how I wish that it had been kindled already. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how I am distressed until it is accomplished. Do you think that I have come to grant peace on the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. For from now on there will be 5 in one household, divided 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law." And he said also to the crowds, "When you see a cloud coming up in the west, you say at once, 'A rainstorm is coming,' and so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, 'There will be burning heat,' and it happens. Hypocrites, you know how to evaluate the appearance of the earth and the sky, but how is it you do not know how to evaluate this present time? And why do you not also judge for yourselves what is right? For as you are going with your accuser before the magistrate, make an effort to come to a settlement with him on the way, so that he will not drag you to the judge, and the judge will hand you over to the bailiff, and the bailiff will throw you into prison. I tell you, you will never get out of there until you have paid back even the last cent." The Wisdom Literature reading is from Psalm 43, verse 1 through 5. Psalm 43. Judge me, O God, and plead my case against an unfaithful nation. From a man of deceit and wickedness rescue me, because you are the God of my refuge. Why have you rejected me? Why must I go about mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Send your light and your truth, they shall lead me. They shall bring me to your holy mountain and to your dwelling places. Then I will go to the altar of God, to God my surpassing joy, and I will praise you with lyre, O God, my God. Why are you in despair, O my soul? And why are you disturbed within me? Hope in God, because I will again praise him, my salvation and my God. This concludes the reading for day 99. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the Global Outreach Ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.